It's been 14 years, but it's finally here. The Fantastic Four X-Men crossover we've been waiting for, The Incredibles 2. I'm gonna say, going into this film, I was honestly skeptical because from the trailer, it didn't look like it was going to be anywhere near on par with the original. But that's okay because the trailer doesn't really give you much. We get the basic premise of what the movie's about. Elastigirl has been chosen to be the face of superheroes in an attempt to bring superheroes back into the limelight and make superheroing legal again. At the same time, Mr. Incredible is back home and has taken over parenting, and has been proven to be, a bit troubling trying to take care of Dash, quite troubling trying to take care of Violet, and an extreme nightmare trying to take care of Jack now that he's showing his powers. But they don't give you much. There is so much more to this film, and I think the best parts and the best aspects of this film were hidden from the trailers, and I think that was a great choice because it came on as a great surprise to me. Is it as good as the first film? No. But I think it's a fantastic addition to the Pixar library. Most of the main cast returns. Craig T. Nelson, Holly Hunter, Sam Jackson, Sarah Vowell, who voiced Violet, Eli Fusil, who voiced Jack, and yes, writer-director Brad Bird returns to voice Edna Mode. Now, two of the characters had to be recast, though. One was Rick Dixon, who was originally voiced by Bud Luckey, who sadly passed away earlier this year. So now he's voiced by Jonathan Banks of Breaking Bad. And the other is Dash, who was originally voiced by Spencer Fox, who, as of this recording, is 25 years old. So he's a bit old to be playing a 10-year-old. So he was replaced with Huck Milner, who actually sounds a lot like Spencer Fox from the original film. So I think they did a really good job of recasting him. But Jonathan Banks sounds nothing like Bud Luckey from the original. So that was a bit distracting, but understandable. Everyone does a great job this time around voicing their characters, but again, there's something else that was distracting me, and it was Craig T. Nelson. I love Craig T. Nelson, but the way he was voicing this character, he sounded quite tired. And I'm not just talking about when it gets to the parenting part. They made that clear in the trailer that he was getting exhausted taking care of his kids, particularly Jack. But I mean, even before that and after that, when he was in action sequences and he was, still primed, he sounded tired. Now, it's understandable. The guy's getting up there. As of this recording, he's 74 years old. So I can't really hold that against him. But it's kind of funny to me because then Holly Hunter, when you think about it, she still sounds quite the same as she did in the original. And the thing is, as of the release of the second film, she is the same age as Craig T. Nelson was when the original was released. So again, it's distracting, but it's understandable. They also introduce a number of new characters, including a slew of new superheroes. But the primary ones are the brother and sister duo, Winston and Evelyn Deaver, voiced by Bob Odenkirk and Catherine Keener, respectively. They both do a great job, particularly Odenkirk. I really like what they did with this character, and part of that had to do with the vocal talents of Odenkirk himself, but a lot of that had to do with the animation. And I don't just mean with the character, the design, his movements, but also the camera work, the way they followed him around when he moved. I just really like that aspect. I think that was really well handled. Both the first film and the second film revolve around two particular plot points. On the one hand, you have superheroes living in an age when the collateral damage from their activities has become too much, and so it's become illegal for superheroes to use their powers. And the other aspect is, or the other plot point is the family aspect, the family dynamic of this particular family, the Incredibles, living in this age in which superheroes are illegal. And in the first film, of course, it starts out showing us the legal aspect, and then that slowly gets pushed to the background as the family aspect comes into the foreground and becomes the major plot point. But we see how the elements of that first plot point of, superheroes being illegal affects the family dynamic. And I think that's probably why I would say, or one of the reasons I would say that the first film is superior to the second one, because in the second one, it's reversed. You have that legal issue has been brought to the foreground, and that's become the primary plot point. And the family aspect has become kind of a B plot, and you don't really see the connection as well between the two. You don't see how the legal aspect affects the family dynamic, or how the family dynamic affects the legal aspect. And that's not to say it's bad. It's all done very well. Everything makes sense. The reasoning behind it having Elastigirl as in the spotlight for trying to bring back superheroes, it makes sense. The way Bob tries to handle the kids and tries to help Dash and Violet, and his attitude with Jack and Jack showing his powers, and everything that happens there, it all makes sense. It's really, the character aspect it's mainly there for character building for Mr. Incredible, as well as mainly Violet, not so much Dash, and also not as much Elastigirl, kind of, not as much, but really the main plot focuses on the legal aspect. And the two plot points really just don't fit together as well as in the first film. And I think that makes it a little weaker than the first one. But the way it's handled is still really well done. All of the returning characters they're excellent to watch. Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, Frozone, Edna. They're a lot of fun. I've already talked about Odenkirk's character, Winston, and when I think of him, the villain, Screenslaver, not as memorable as Syndrome. I think Syndrome, while he was more colorful, and also his motivations I felt they made more sense. This time around, the character is relatable, and to a point sympathetic that you can understand why they're upset, but I feel like their motivations aren't as understandable for what they're doing, why they're doing what they're doing. And I know sometimes villains are, their motivations don't make a lot of sense, but when you're trying to paint a sympathetic character, you kind of want that to be true. My favorite character from the original was Dash. I loved him. He was so much fun, and he's good in this as well. They really focused, between him and Violet, they focused on him a lot more in the first film, and his desire to utilize the powers that he has. He has to keep them bottled up, and it's driving him nuts. This time around, though, they focus more on Violet and her conflict with being a superhero and how it's interfering with her personal life. They've kind of passed the torch from the focus on Dash to Violet. And that's fine. But what bothered me is that in the first film, I felt they utilized their powers to a greater effect. Like that action sequence with them in the jungle, and then at the end fighting the robot with everyone else. I thought that was just fantastic. That was so well done. But in this film, I don't really think they did that. I think they really shortchanged them on their powers, and I kind of feel that way towards everyone. Even Elastigirl, I really felt like they weren't utilizing their powers to their full potential. Except for Frozone. Frozone was the only one I felt they really gave him. I felt like he was the only one that they did a better job showing his powers and how useful they are. And I think there's two reasons for that. One is they were cramming all these other superheroes into it and trying to show their powers, and they were alright, but they were not very interesting. I don't even remember any of their names except for Void, and that's only because I looked it up on IMDb. The second reason, though, makes up for it. It's the aspect that I was most looking forward when going into this film. Jack. I cannot get enough Jack. He is such a cute character, such a fun character to watch. And especially when the reaction from the different characters, the dad, the mom, the kids, Edna, the other supers, the reaction they get from this baby who is basically stronger than all of them. It's just so wonderful, and he's usually smiling, he's laughing no matter what the situation, and even when he's not, he's more likely to get angry and mutate into this purple demon baby. Or monster. But, you know, it's, like I said, he's just so much fun. Overall, Incredibles 2 is a wonderful film with some great characters, great writing, and great animation. It unfortunately has a few aspects that keep it from measuring up to the first film. Nevertheless, I'm really glad to see it breaking box office records. Overall, I give the film a 9 out of 10. It's definitely one I recommend, not just for the kids, but for the adults as well. That's what I got. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.